not the actual Aboriginals that would need it out in the middle of Australia, but the city-wide Aboriginals who were the ones with the loudest voices that are basically maybe a 15th Aboriginal in the city, you know. Here we go. Another Gunners Club special. Here we go.
Hi.
Hello,
guys.
Hi.
Does it pass the pub test? What we're talking about here today.
What are we talking about here today?
Yeah, there you go.
Something's brought its ugly head up again in the
That's
media.
it, yeah. Do you remember the referendum we had about a year ago? Do you remember that? Yeah? The Voice to Parliament, remember?
It's kind of hard to forget because we were all forced to
Is that
vote.
that singing show?
Yeah, The Voice.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Or the song by John Farnham. You're the voice, trying to understand it.
Try and understand this one.
Yeah. The Voice 1 year on, and here it is. In 2023, the Voice referendum helped reconciliation, or has it deepened the divide? Basically, out of the hundreds of millions of dollars that we spent on the referendum, has anything changed to the benefit of the Aboriginals, who this was all intended for?
But was spending the money on the referendum actually intended to help the Aboriginals at all? The money itself, spending on it, was irrelevant, I think. It was more the decision or the outcome that came out they hoped would help the Aboriginals.
But
although it still cost a shitload of money.
A shitload of money. But, okay, let's put it into a different light. That same money, and we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars here, were they to have taken that instead of spending it on the referendum and actually, I don't know, maybe built a couple of hospitals out there in the Never specifically for the Aboriginals?
Crazy.
Yep.
I wonder, would that perhaps maybe had a benefit? Having a referendum that was defeated, and everyone knew it was going to be defeated right from the start, and yet we just flushed it down the dunny instead of not giving it to them, but giving them a benefit from that money.
Yeah.
So
it could have been better spent.
So is it just tokenism? Is it just simply us saying, look at us, we're trying to help you guys, we're trying to help you guys. Not the actual Aboriginals that would need it out in the middle of Australia, but the city-wide Aboriginals who were the ones with the loudest voices that are basically maybe a 15th Aboriginal in the city, you know. It's all fishy to me, but that's just my opinion. We want to hear from you guys. What do you reckon?
Well, I'd like to know, talking with Aboriginals, what do they actually
get out of this?
Want? No, what do they want? What do they want? Not the people that tell them what they want. We all get told what we want all the time by everyone on the TV, and they're saying we need this voice. And I have spoken to Aboriginals, and none of them particularly wanted this voice either. I would want to know, what is it that they want that we can help with? Or do they not want anything? Do they just want to be the same as everybody else? We keep separating everybody. It doesn't matter. We keep separating everybody. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Why do we have to separate everybody? How are we going to have
it's the old term,
equality?
Divide and conquer.
Exactly, and I think that's the problem. It's that if we were all just the same and we all just had what we needed, what we all actually needed, these conversations, this bullshit, it wouldn't matter. Like, no one's saying that they were treated well or any of that stuff, or that things did or didn't happen. It's like, okay, this is the point in time where we're at now. What do you need? And how can we all be one race rather than being divided? The more they bring up this stuff, the more division. This causes division to me, rather than making us all come together as the same people.
And that's what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah.
So really, what is the voice? What's their end game? Do they Do you think the government actually is transparent and tells you exactly what they want? Fuck no. They will. It's like a theatre show. They will direct you that way, get two people to argue, and they do what they want over there. That's always been the way in many, many topics. This ain't no different. I don't know what their true end game is. I know it won't be what you hear on the legacy media.
It's not peace and equality.
It
doesn't feel like it.
I just don't feel that it's going to be beneficial for the Aboriginal community in the long run.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I don't.
I think it's going to be more harm than good. I don't know. This is my own just gut feeling. There's a lot involved in it, with land and who really owns it and who's in the Constitution and who's not. And I think there's some sinister things happening behind the scenes, and the governments have never been transparent. They presume to be, and the people seem to keep falling for that. So,
well, I mean, speaking of the transparency, that we had the referendum, it was voted on,
and it's gone,
and it was voted down. So that was the end of it. The people spoke after the referendum. So what are they doing now? They're trying to bring it in through the back door.
Go the back door.
No, seriously. Now they're trying to bring it in through the back door, even though we have already said no.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to bring it through the back door, through the state legislations rather than one we already voted on saying no.
And do we get any right to vote through the state legislation? Or can they just decide on that? Like, how does that work?
I think most of it is just being decided on through regulation.
So we don't get a say.
No,
No.
that's right.
So, like I
we've had
said,
our
you
say.
think you
They
get a
know
say.
how we feel. They know that we don't want division, and they're going to bring it in anyway.
They'll do what they want.
Because it
different
suits
avenue.
them.
Yeah. Dirty
And-
bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bastards!
They need a flogging.
Bring back the public vloggings, is that what you're saying?
That's it.
That's
That's
right.
it. Has it, and is it still, has it damaged government trust?
Oh, shit, yes. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is blatant, right in front of your eyes. Everyone's got to realise, like what you just said, we voted no, but they just give it a little bit of time. Some of the population will forget about it, and we'll just go around this way and this way. Like I said, it's a theatre show.
Blatantly said, I think it was Elbow that said it actually, that regardless of what the outcome was of the referendum, that they would find a way to get it in.
Yeah.
And I have to
so what was the point of spending hundreds of millions of dollars in the first place?
Yeah, but
then?
now I'm really confused because he said something and now he's doing what he said. That's like the first time ever. I'm almost proud, except for I'm disgusted. I'm really confused. I have to think about this. The first time ever a politician did something they said they were going to do.
And do you remember when we were coming up to the time for the vote? And it was weeks before. Do you remember the spin from the media and the companies and corporations that got on board?
Yes, yeah.
You remember all that?
Oh.
And it was a foregone conclusion. It's
Yeah.
going to go.
Yeah.
We're going through with it. And everybody was flying the Aboriginal flag. We got to get this done.
Yep.
So we get equality for the Aboriginals and all that. The Aboriginals didn't want any of this, by the way, just in case you were wondering. It's only the 15th Aboriginals in the city that were agitating for this.
Yep.
The actual full-blood Aboriginals out who actually do need help,
But I
they
think
didn't want anything to do with it.
I think a lot of people didn't even really understand what it meant, what we were actually saying yes or no to, because
The government was holding back on the
exactly
on the truth.
They weren't actually
That's
giving
what
you
I
all the
say about
information.
transparency.
Yep. But it was also a big part of it was having a separate Aboriginal council within the government.
Yes.
But what people forgot was we already have a percentage of Aboriginal heritage people in Parliament. So it's not like their voice isn't already heard in that way. By making it a separate council, it was divisive.
Yes,
because
it
we
was.
don't have a separate council within the government for anything else.
For Polish people, for Hungarian people, for
Yeah.
Italian people,
Yeah.
do they
That's
have
right.
their own specific council?
That's
Yeah.
right. We don't, because when you start having all these different groups, it's divisive. That's
Yeah.
when there's going to be conflict between people. So we're already representing them. They already have every right to come into politics. We already had people who had done so, but they wanted to make a whole new section on it. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, The Voice, yes, we're for the Aboriginals. It wasn't about whether or not we felt for the Aboriginals or cared about them or wanted to help them. It wasn't even about that at all. It was about, should they have had a separate voice in Parliament?
Yes.
Everybody said no.
Yeah, exactly right. And even though we all said no, they're still going to do it. But we spent hundreds of millions of dollars to get our vote, which obviously meant nothing.
No, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to convince people to say yes.
That's what it was, to try and convince us
It
to say
wasn't
yes.
spent to get our vote, because that didn't have to cost that much money. It cost that much money because they were trying to coerce people into being on the same side of them by more emotive advertising.
Didn't work, mate.
No.
Didn't work, mate.
Didn't work. Hey, as Albo said, doesn't matter. I'm going to get it in anyway.
He did, actually. That's
Yeah.
right.
You did. You did.
Told you up front.
Yeah.
And that money didn't come out of their own private bank account.
Oh, no.
No.
That's right. That's right.
So, okay. So now let's ask the question, have the Aboriginals benefited from this? And if so, how?
Yeah, I'd like to see an opinion, whether you're just living local here in town or whether you're in Central Australia. Tell us, can you see a benefit from the individual or from a community or a tribe? What are the benefits? What do you think the benefits are?
Have you received any benefit from this whole palaver of having done this vote?
And you got to think of your future grandchildren, great-grandchildren. What do you think their benefits are going to be? Like, this is a long-term play. This is not just a benefit for you next week at your hip pocket type of thing. This is for your next generations to come. That's what the long-term play is. Where is this heading?
Yeah. So I'd be more inclined to ask as well, what is it? What is it that you would like to happen? What do you need that you don't have? I think that's where it comes down to fundamentally what can be provided to you that you need that you don't have. Because at the end of the day, a lot of it's
They've
just
got
words.
access to everything we do.
Well, that's why I'm asking. What I'm asking them. What maybe
Yeah.
we think they do and they actually don't. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't have...
Maybe there's a level of control that happens for them that we don't understand because we're not a part of it. I don't know. And that's where I'm asking is this whole thing, if there's help to be given, what should that help look like from an on the ground, boots on ground kind of living as an Aboriginal person or First Australian,
Nations, yeah.
First Nation? What does that look like? Or do you just want to be left alone to just blend in with everybody else and we all live together? Like, what does that look like?
Because we know that historically, Australia, as in the government, of all flavours of government, going back 30, 40, 50 years, have put towards the Aboriginal cause hundreds of billions of dollars over the years, spent out of taxpayer money.
And
Where has that money gone? Who has benefited? Because it's very obvious that it's not the Aboriginals.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
whose pocket is it going into? It's obviously not going into theirs.
no. I've spent. I mean, we might be veering a little bit off topic from the actual voice, but I've spent a lot of time in Central Australia in different areas, and I don't see any benefit.
Yeah.
I don't see any benefit. It's getting worse. Education might be the start, but a lot of them refuse to go. So I'd like to know your opinion. Have you got a different opinion? I think education is the way to teach them the Western side, I guess you might say.
There is an argument that they don't want to lose their Aboriginal heritage.
That's okay.
So are you then saying that with the education, maybe there should be an Aboriginal form of education?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
It's got to
absolutely.
fit in with
Absolutely, yeah.
what they want. Anything that tells you or is teaching you things that is not part of what you actually want is not helping, it's hindering. If you want to be able to live community lifestyle, Aboriginal communities, you should be able to do that. If you want to be given aspects of education, you should be able to have a blend of that. If you would like to be completely Western and have education that way, you should be able to do that. But I guess it comes down to you should have the choice to do it, not be told, we do it this way, therefore you have to then go into our system and this is how we're going to teach you, because that's not going to work and that's not fair either, because then they feel like they're Westernised rather than being able to have their own culture. So it's got to be a balance.
So again, then, what that means is that we're dividing again. We're going to give them a totally different education system to what we got.
Well,
I think
it's like say, if a big bunch of Indians come to live here, they will have their own restaurants and have their own supermarkets and even their own sort of schools. They have Islamic schools, they have this, but they assimilate. So, like you say, you've got to unite and live together. But you can still have we're not telling them to come here and you can't have an Indian restaurant. So yes, you can have your culture. No different from the Aboriginals. You can still have your culture and you can still learn that. But we can coexist. We don't have to separate and divide. So it's called coexisting and uniting together as humans, just like every other race and every other person that comes here. And they were the First Nations, but we're assimilating. They've got to assimilate too. This is all uniting. I just find this a big division. You know, so we are taught to accept a lot of immigration. Well, look at it in that way. So we all got to live with every other person. Well, we've got to live together with Aboriginals and respect their culture, as well as they should in turn respect ours. Now, okay,
I think we're past the point of going back to how it used to be.
We can't.
It's never going to be how it used to be, regardless of whether land was stolen, what happened, how it was taken.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to the point now where we can't reverse that. All we can do is work together to move on. But it doesn't mean that like, I would find it interesting to learn some of the Aboriginal culture and how they live off the land. And just because there are schools and opportunities that support both doesn't mean that only Aboriginal people can go to that. It should be that anybody can
teach that in Western schools.
I'd love to learn that.
Teach that,
information,
in the Western schools,
how to live off the land and you know, what they use for different medicines and different foods and different. I think that would be fantastic to learn for anybody. Like, why can't we amalgamate the education? Why does it have to be one or the other?
Yeah.
I think it would be really interesting.
It would. It would.
Because I would definitely, if I was lost in the bush, I'd be the one that eats the wrong berry. And he's either got the shits for the entire trip or poisoned myself.
And if someone said to you, just head west,
I'm stuffed. I'm like, west, so that's left. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn.
So at the end of the day, if we've come to the decision that it really wasn't any benefit to the Aboriginals at all. So in other words, it was all just tokenism. It was just
political.
It was just, look at me, I'm putting my hand up to help you guys. You know, don't put a brick through my window. I'm a good guy. So nobody was really intending to help them at all. It was just a show of something. Like these corporations that the AFL. How about they just stick to playing football instead of pushing these social engineering bloody, weeks? I mean, they've got the Aboriginal footy week. I don't even know what they call it.
NARDOC?
Yeah. Anyway, it's a weaker. A weaker footy where it's dedicated to Aborigines.
Okay.
Then they had one for the LGBTQ agenda.
Yep.
Right? They had all of they're pushing all these How about you stick to
fucking
football? It's the same with these companies.
I'm waiting for my white middle-aged woman week. I
Yeah,
haven't had that yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe once you become a fringe, they'll give it to
Then
you
they'll
as
let
well.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, the whole pup test thing here is: did any of this whole bullshit referendum
Yeah.
have
What was that for?
any value at all
Yeah.
for the Aboriginals that it was actually intended for?
No.
And if they're then going to try and push it through at state level, does it change anybody's opinion as to
It'll actually
was
make
it
it
good
well.
or bad?
Well,
How do we feel about it being pushed through behind our backs?
well, that'll actually make things worse, even if they succeed in pushing it through. Because whereas we may have felt, personally, individually, warm and fuzzy, well, oh, look, they deserve a fair go. Let's let it happen. But okay, the majority said no. And now they're going to put it through anyway. Aren't we going to be felt like we've been stabbed in the back?
Well, I think that's
Isn't it going to divide us even more?
Well, I think that's a reason why a lot of people said no, is because they didn't actually trust the intent of the government behind it. It had nothing to do with the Aboriginal people. So
I
then, if
agree.
you're going to go and then take it and do it behind everybody's back at a state level, doesn't that prove that we don't trust the government and no one believed that they were actually trying to do anything for the Aboriginal people?
Exactly, right.
So what's the question then? Is the question, did anyone, no one really should have got any value out of the referendum other than the yes or no vote. But I guess what's the question? Are we happy with it being pushed through state level? Like,
Well, no, but
should this be buried and gone?
But the whole thing is, this was all, whether it was a yes or a no, it was all to benefit the Aboriginals.
Meant to be.
Yeah, that was
If
the
it
intent.
passed. If it passed.
Yeah. Well, the majority. In fact, it wasn't just a very small majority. It was a big majority that said no. Has anything come out of it since the no? Has anything come out of it to benefit the Aboriginals?
And has it united people or has it divided people?
Well, to my mind, if anything, it's divided us more. It's
Yes.
shown that the government can't be trusted.
Yes.
Yes.
And we all know that, but you'll stand back and just watch them and do nothing.
Don't hold back, mate.
Yeah. Say
Don't
how
hold
you really
back.
feel. Well, they did the right thing. They voted no.
Yeah, but now, once they're trying to go through the back door,
Yeah. What do we do now?
what are they?
And
What's everyone going to do about it?
you know how we hate it when they try to come through the back door.
I think it's time to take it to the pub.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts.
What do you think?
Give us a like and subscribe, guys, and comment down below. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
See ya.